I don't know if we're gonna make it. Mellow greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to see you. This video is gonna be a little bit different than what I usually do. I usually have notes, and sometimes I have a whole script. I have B-roll, and this time I just wanted to do something different. I just want to do like a stream of consciousness. I just want to get my thoughts out there, because when I do like my typical videos, I do a lot of research, and sometimes that takes a long time. So I just want to talk to everyone that's listening about what's going on, about how I feel about what's going on. So it's going to be a little different. Hope you like it. Hope you don't mind the hat. The sun is quite strong out here. Basically, first thing I'll say is, for the last month, I have not been okay. I have been a little overwhelmed. I don't know if you all know, but we did move a couple of months ago, so it has been a lot of work. But it's not just that. There's just so much going on. The acceleration of all the craziness got me a little bit black-pilled. And I think I'm recuperating from it. I feel better. I feel motivated to make videos again, and I got myself more organized. But I still have this feeling of, every morning I wake up, every night I go to bed, and I think, okay, this is as crazy as clown world is going to get. It can't get any crazier than this, right? And every morning I wake up with a sense of dread, because as I'm getting out of bed and stretching and feeding the animals and everything, I get this gut feeling like something really ridiculous is going to happen today, and I'm going to go look at my phone and look at the news, and I'm going to see it, and it's just going to hit me like a house of bricks. And that's basically what has been happening. Every morning I wake up and something stupider than the day before happens, and for a moment I just feel like I don't even know what I want to talk about. Is too much. So that's why I decided to just do this, just talk to you guys. And let's see, where can we start? Well, let's start with this. I realized that the level of brainwashing that has been achieved by the opposition, by the left side, the Marxists, whatever you want to call them, is so deep that it scares me. It deeply scares me that I don't know if we're going to make it. I mean, I know we will, because I know God has a plan, but sometimes it scares me. I'll tell you how I got feeling this way. I'm sure you all know about that dreadful speech Biden gave, where he absolutely looked like Hitler, and he called us all terrorists. He said we were a threat to democracy. Well, I didn't watch it in prime time. I watched it after, watched parts of it because I couldn't sit through the whole thing. But day after, I spoke to a relative of mine, somebody that is very smart and who I love very much, and who's also a Republican, or so they say. And then I was like, yeah, so do you hear that? Like, how insane is that? And this person, who was a very smart person, she was like, oh yes, it was brilliant. That was so great, so uniting. And I was just like, what? How can you say that? Like, didn't you see the Hitler-like backdrop that was all red and the darkness? And she was like, oh no, there was some blue in there too. It was red and blue, like America. And I tried to bring up some of the points that he talked about how we were all terrorists if we didn't agree with him. And she was like, well, some people are really polarized and they're being very extreme. And I was just like, okay, I can't talk to you because I love you, and I just can't, I can't believe they got you like this. And that, I think that's what got me like in a dark mode. Like, if they can get this person who's very smart, very articulate, who also escaped from communism just like myself, then they can get basically anyone. Oh yeah, I had another incident with another friend who was actually the first person that ever talked to me about the Great Reset, the Agenda 2030, and about being prepared. And I spoke to this friend, and we were just texting. It's like one of those people that was in the army with me. We don't talk very often, but it doesn't matter. When we talk, we're like right back to, like we talk every day. And it has been a while, so I texted him, and we started, texting back and forth, talking about the kids, the family, and everything. And then he said, my daughter is going to college next year. She's got really good grades, and she got into the college that oh no, wait, let me rephrase that. He said, my daughter got accepted in the college that she wanted, and they are very happy. And I was like, wait, who else is happier? I mean, you're all happy for her, right? And he was like, well, they like to go by they them pronouns now, so I respect that because it makes them happy. And that was just like, oh no, they got him too. And it was just like, if they can get people that I know are smart and that at one point at least knew what's going on, then are they gonna get me somehow? Like, what are they putting in the water? What is going on? So yeah, that type of encounters have got me like a little bit down, but I don't think it's a good idea to stay down. I'm just gonna keep pushing, and I'm gonna keep talking about all of the issues. Then we had the situation where the FBI got a warrant and went into the ex-president's home in Mar-a-Lago and raided his house, and God knows what they took and what they planted, and they raided Melania's closet. Like, that's too stupid to be stupid. I'm sitting here thinking, how can this happen in America? This is the kind of stuff that happened in Venezuela. This is the kind of stuff that happened in Russia. And we're not supposed to talk about it. We're not supposed to be concerned. And later, a few days ago, they also raided a bunch of people that are allies with President Trump. I think it was 45 people. And I don't know what else has happened with that, but if these people's homes are getting raided, what is to guarantee that, my home's not going to get raided, that your home is not going to get raided just because you watch videos like this or make videos like this, or maybe because you have a Trump flag in your yard? What I'm worried about is, are we reaching that point where it's really okay to, if you disagree with the left, you can be considered a criminal? There's always talk about taking away people's guns. There was some law that passed that credit cards now are going to have a code that if you buy guns, I think this is just in New York City, but still, that if you buy a gun or ammunition, it's going to have a special merchant code where it's going to flag that purchase so the government can track it as you're buying guns and ammunition. I mean, how did we get here? It's insane. I know we have had some wins. I know that Project Veritas has exposed a bunch of people pushing a communist agenda on our kids. There's some other good things happening. Parents are fighting back against all the craziness going on in our schools. But I feel like at this point we're really, really on the precipice. Like, that's kind of what got me back into action mode. Like, we need to keep going and not stop, because if we stop now, they're going to start arresting us. This was going to happen. They're going to start raiding our homes and putting us in prison along with the people from January 6th that are still in prison. Without, a lot of them still haven't been tried, and a lot of them were arrested without much justification, just because they were there. They were near and around the Capitol on January 6th, and they rounded them up, and they're still sitting in prison. This is just for somebody that grew up watching communism unfold and how human life is not valued in that kind of system. This just gives me like extreme panic, because we do what we can, but if things don't change soon, if we don't get more power back, it's going to come to the point where it's going to be like that last stage of taking over the narrative, where if you disagree with them, you're immediately a thought criminal and you get arrested. And I think they're starting at the top, trying to make a raid on President Trump's house and then raiding his allies and trying to incriminate them. I think that if they get away with that, then they're going to come for smaller and smaller people until we're all in the gulag. And I don't want that to happen to anybody at all. I think that like I said, it's a crazy moment where things can go one way or the other. I think the elections in November are going to be a big determining moment in how things go. Oh, but the elections can be rigged. Yes, but I think that we need to get out there and vote. I think if you can volunteer to work the polls to make sure they don't get rigged. Keep a watchful eye. I wanted to do that, but unfortunately I live in one state and I have residency in another state because of military status, so I can't work at the polls here. I can't even vote here. I'm going to go to the state where I have residency to vote. I'm definitely going to go. But if you can, I think working at the polls would be a very good way to help reduce the corruption that might be going on in the elections. Because are they going to try to steal it? Of course they are. But the more people try to work against it, the less chance that they have. So we have to do what we can to save this election. I think if we take back the House, the Senate, we might be able to save this, at least save it to a degree where we're not going to get arrested. Also, I think that we need to just get smart about who we talk to, how we say things. I don't know, just saying that makes me like, ooh, like we should be able to say whatever we want. But like, I was watching the Salty Cracker a week or so ago, and he was talking about like that the White House had put out a number where people could call in and say how the student loan forgiveness is going to benefit them, and you could just call and leave a message. And he was like, don't fall for that. Don't call there, saying anything like, oh, this is stupid and you're all stupid, because then they're going to use that against you as, oh, you're an enemy of the state. I think we should be able to call them and curse them out, because the whole student loan forgiveness thing is stupid. But maybe he's right. Maybe it's a trap. I think there's going to be a lot of traps. And I would say, yeah, don't fall for them. Besides that, well, let me just talk about the student loan thing a little bit. Just like, I know this has been said, but I think this is actually working in our favor. Because they announced they're going to forgive 10 grand of student loan debt, right? Or 20 if you had a Pell Grant. Well, of course, the Democrats are not happy because they wanted more. They wanted it all forgiven. And the Republicans are pissed because they're like, oh yeah, so now other people have to pay for your stupid gender studies lesbian dance degree. So they pissed off both parties. Of course, they were going to piss off the Republicans, but now they pissed off all the SGWs too. So maybe that's the silver lining. That was like the last thing they had that was going to make people maybe vote Democrat again, and I think they lost a lot of people on that. So see, maybe there is a silver lining. But the dark side of that is that now those of us that pay taxes, we're going to have to pay for these people's underwater basket weaving lesbian geology degrees. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend my tax money on that. Oh, another thing that really made me mad is that now they are going to tax small stores like Etsy stores, or even like if you sell something on Facebook Marketplace. As of next year, even if it's a garage sale that you're having and you use Cash App or Venmo or any of these things, now those services, they will send you a 1099 if you make more than, I think, $600. So you're gonna have to pay taxes on that. Now there's a way to protect yourself against this. Is you can get a business license as a sole proprietorship, and then any transaction that you make, if you have an Etsy store or anything like that, you can deduct all your expenses, including a portion of your rent or your mortgage, your phone, anything you use for this type of work. So protect yourselves against this if you can, because they're going to try to tax us on everything. I don't even know what other kinds of taxes are going to come, but they have to make all this money back somehow, and who's going to give it to them? They have is us. I'm going to talk about one more thing that just makes me completely is the fact that the potato keeps sending money to Ukraine. There's already families here that cannot afford groceries, that have to choose between putting gas in their car and buying the food that they would like to eat, or perhaps sending their kids to dance lessons or whatever. And so like the middle class is starting to struggle, yet somehow we have money to give to Ukraine. Why? I would like for somebody to explain to me how that makes any sense. Like, what has Ukraine done for the US? So that's what I'm saying. Like, clown world is getting to a point of ridiculousness that is hard to accept without feeling that you're living in crazy world. Recently, there was a case of a lady in a college that said that she was playing volleyball, and then she said that somebody was yelling the N-word at her. And there was this huge uproar, like, oh my God, did you see how racist America is? Well, it turned out the whole thing was fake. The fact that somebody would just do a grift like that kind of also tells you how ridiculous of a society we live in, because only in a society where somebody thinks they can get away with that is because they know that, hey, maybe I can. Maybe she's going to try to get some money out of this. Just like all these parents at the theme parks saying that, oh, the character didn't pay attention to my black child, and then, they're going to sue and get money. People see that and they're like, oh, how can I come up with my own graft? See if I can make some money. That doesn't happen in a healthy society where people know the rule of law and where people know that objective truth is going to prevail. In a society like that, people are not going to try to come up with stupid ideas like that. Like that lady in the volleyball team, there was an investigation, and It was, all the tapes were watched, all the audio, all the video of the game that was recorded, of course. And the university, they stated that they found no evidence of nobody saying the N-word at her, so it was all fake. And then somebody on ESPN was still like, well, but she spoke with passion. Like, who cares? She was lying. She needs to be punished for lying. Whatever happened to Jesse Smollett, the guy that lied about being attacked? I know he got out of jail for some stupid reason. Is he still out of jail? Is he going to go back to jail? He needs to. We need to come back to a point where the truth matters. Not my truth or your truth. Just the truth is very simple. Is some things are and some things aren't. Like, this hat is here, okay? And I can take it off, but I cannot pretend that it's not here. This chair is here, okay? Of course, now all these things can be fake in apps, but the real chair, the real hat, they're here. And I can pretend that I'm sitting on a cloud wearing a crown, but that doesn't make it true. So I can't get mad if somebody doesn't believe me that I'm sitting in a cloud wearing a crown. I can feel happy fantasizing about that if I want, but I can't make other people believe it. It's very simple. It's really not that complicated. And we need to get back to that objective truth, not the 1984 version of truth. We need to get back to reality. So I think that's all I have for tonight. I'm sure I'll have more stuff tomorrow to rant about. And yeah, because now I have come to terms with the fact that when I go to bed tonight thinking that nothing stupider can happen, I bet you something stupid is going to happen tomorrow. I'll let you know. Well, I hope you enjoyed my rant. I hope you found it relatable. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, we're just going to keep going. We're not going to give up this easy. Relevant Elevant out.